whatever. We're a couple episodes out of Koi Paradiso, and Byron has been assembling a new collection of songs that we've been listening to some, talking about others, but he sent some artwork today, and it's not that the album's going to be released as a traditional CD, LP, whatever, with the regular artwork, but you still want to create that to give it some kind of like stake in the ground saying, here's the cover, here's the tray card with the songs listed.
Yeah, it's sort of a, so it's, you could, there's tons of songs. You start trying to whittle it down into some sort of group of songs representing maybe the name of the album. Essentially, it was 1 year of my life sort of putting that album together. And so those were the songs I worked on that year, and it was called Wonderfully Stupid. And
yeah, so I'll throw the cover up here so we can see what we're looking at.
yeah, we've already listened to one song so far from that album. That was the Shifter song or whatever.
Again, I don't ever want to look behind the magic carpet, but are those actual splotches, or did you just stock, or did you draw it?
Yeah, that was now I'm deep into my artwork and stuff like that. So I think there must be about 7 or 8 sort of quasi covers. I just sort of did a cover a day, and some were more busy, more neon. This was sort of muted and stuff like that. I liked it just because of the name. Wonderfully Stupid sort of goes against just sort of the simplicity and the blandness of it, and it just looked nice to me out of all the other ones that I had. It was, the words belie what the cover should be. So the cover could be all crazy and wonderfully stupid, but it was just sort of a different one. I just liked how the
interesting how musically, I'll say, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why do you like this? Why do you like that? Visually, the same thing. You do so many, kind of colorful and crazy, loopy and cartoonish things. And then there's this. Can you explain any even the font? The font is so wonderfully basic.
Right. So it was just exactly what you just said. It was just opposite. So it was just taking like a layer and just making it opposite of what I normally like to do. So because the music to me is very colorful and stupid, and it's wonderfully stupid. Nobody can understand it, but there's something wonderful about all the music I do. And I just wanted sort of an opposite, like I could have had my usual with dancing bears and fire swallowing girls and half men and crazy pictures, but I thought it was just a good counter, and it looks very simple. And,
you know what I always love too is that nothing is without merit. Like even though you go, it may not be my best thing, it adds to the palette of your overall thing. Excuse me. It's very interesting. The title itself, I always, as a designer, I will labor over where these words go. Mm-hmm. I'll put them in 100 places. I'll put them in the same line. I'll break them up. I'll center them. I'll make them hard right, hard left. I always wonder where it is that thing we go, this is getting good,
So this is the thing that we've talked about on previous episodes, but one of the things I like about my artwork is that I feel I have no money in the game in this. I just sort of do it, and if it feels good, I sort of stick with it. It's part of your how you make your living and stuff like that. So, and I'm sure it's like one of the first things that you've done a lot and stuff like that, and you want to follow it. So like to me, this is why I love doing it. I just sort of throw it. I say, oh, it looks good to me, and I don't really get into the sort of mechanics. I just sort of stick it in when here, good.
Yeah,
that looks wonderful.
And that is exactly the difference. I will typically on first pass of client stuff go with what I think looks really good. Mm-hmm. But in life, everybody's at different levels or stations or whatever. I'm not saying better or worse. I'm just saying everybody's experience in their life dictates what they like to see, how they relieve themselves mentally. So I say I'm always kind of weirded out because I'll do what I think is cool for the first pass, and inevitably a client will come back and say, well, why are they on different lines? Could we put them? Sure. And from there, I start losing ownership of it, right? And it's always nice if you can get to a place where a client says, I trust you.
Yeah.
You just do whatever.
Yeah.
And you've given yourself that leniency.
Yeah, there's tons of great, especially on YouTube, videos on drawing. There are rules. You go to a school of design, art and design. There are rules. I've got some books that I've collected of some art directors that I've really enjoyed. The guy, I forget his name, but he did the backgrounds for the Bugs Bunny cartoons, Chuck Jones, stuff like that. Maurice Noble. So he did a lot of those crazy backgrounds, like the Martian backgrounds with the that just sort of. So so there are people that break the rules. There are people that have the rules and break the rules. I've watched some YouTube videos about sort of first perspective, second perspective. I sort of follow along a bit just to get ideas. I know there's a thing about thirds and stuff like that. But then I think that just constrains me in a way. This is what I love about doing this art. You just sort of go, yeah, it looks good to me, man.
Especially when you talk about spatial requirements or considerations. To me, that means nothing. To me, what I need help with always is I'm not a classically trained designer, so I need those circle wheels, color wheels to go, what goes with this color? What's sympathetic with it? I can pick colors I like, but it doesn't seem to fall into what the world says is standardized for that.
Right. So that's one of the things I enjoy about I've learned about sort of color palettes, and so Pantone's got a famous book, and actually they come out with a group of colors that's sort of like 3-4 colors for design studios 3 years ahead, and stuff like that, and they sort of put. So I think that was drawn with a lot of different. Grays. I first drew it with grays, and then I used in my program a thing with different color gradients, and I sort of play off it and see which one works the best for me and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a different way of sort of drawing.
That's about as beige a beige can be, the background. And I was wondering if that was beige for neutrality, beige for blah, and then dropping stuff on it. I don't know. I like to get down to why it's the way it is.
Yeah, like sometimes I think about putting some textures in the background and stuff like that, and muting the white. So I usually like a lot of glow white stuff. So this way I try to get sort of a natural, a cream white, sort of a pearl white, sort of an older paper sort of white. Just to tone down those sort of bright colors that I always like to do. Yeah, I really try to do the opposite of what I normally do on this one. That's why I like this so much.
Do you ever work with vignettes at all?
Vignettes.
Well, see the whiteboard there I've got splashing some light? See the way it's bright and it goes off into kind of a deeper gray off to the side? That's a vignette. It's like an old photograph,
Okay.
And if you just use them very slightly, they're very effective.
I have toyed with them. Actually, I was actually toying with a vignette in this video that we're about to see. I was just sort of toying with it, and I still haven't. It's something in the back of my mind that one day I'm going to use a vignette, but no, I haven't got to that point yet.
Speaking of, sorry to change the subject quickly, before I forget, because Byron has a lot of experience, well, at least a lot of experience compared to my own experience with the drawing tablets, and I think I want to get my wife one for Christmas, so I was going to ask you about which ones. You use your PC guy? Your PC guy? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter, Mac, PC, they'll attach to anything. So when you draw on yours, do you draw and the image comes up right where you're drawing, or do you have to look at the computer and draw?
So the cheapest, I have a tablet that I have to use my monitor to, but...
So you're used to doing this?
Yeah, and it's all has to do with the setup, but as long as you feel comfortable, I feel very comfortable. It takes a couple hours just sort of getting used to, sort of this. You can get the ones that have the screen on the, they're much more expensive.
Yeah, it's like you're drawing on a touch screen.
Yeah. Like Windows has got one, Surface Studio that's very popular, and it's got like $5. Yeah, and but the one I have is it's from Wacom, WACOM.
They're really good. I saw high.
Yeah, and I spent a couple $100. The best thing I can say is don't get a small one. Get either a medium one or a large one.
Yeah, they have a small, medium, large.
Yeah.
The large is like $1,200 or something. The medium's like about $400, and I was thinking of getting that.
I have a medium, and I highly recommend either a medium or large. It is a tool that she will always have, or whoever uses. So tools to me are indispensable, and it's worth investing in a good tool. A medium is a great size. So I have one
I heard the nubs die down real quick on this one.
With the pen, no, I don't. It's not an issue with me. I've had to change it one or two. They give you about 8 or 9. I've had no issue with that. I draw every day, and the great thing about Wacom is that it gives you 3 light drawing programs, and one of them was the one that I now have. Clip Studio Paint is my main one. That comes with the Wacom, and I loved it so much.
Wacom, you can send your residual
great.
checks this way.
No, that's awesome because that used to be a Japanese manga program, so it's just drawn for.
That's probably tells me why in the ads for it I see the manga.
Oh yeah, but it's wonderful. It's got a great sort of. You can get all sorts of free brushes, free color palettes. They use all the different.
It's got 8,000 different pressure.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So I spent $300-400 on a really good tablet, and I love my tablet. I draw every day. Yeah.
Well, I would like to get her the same one you have too, just so you know.
It's called an Intuos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was on Amazon. I saw it. It was at $3.99. It was the medium Wacom.
Yeah.
And then I did the search on what's are good ones. These Wacoms are really good.
Yeah.
A lot of the professionals use them.
Yeah, they've got it figured out. Yeah, so you can't go wrong. Absolutely.
And I saw the difference was on, this is, I bet you people haven't bought it but are curious. There's 2 separate kind of styles. One is that has the picture, like it's like we talked about, you can draw and it happens right there in front of you. But then a lot of these are, you get used to having, do you have to wear a glove? No, you know what I'm saying? Like
I don't.
Some of them wear a glove so they don't.
It's like whatever makes you happy. So you just have to figure it out for yourself.
Well, I'm about as poor of a drawer as you're going to find. So I've never experienced these things. Luckily, I just work on a computer for graphics.
Well, one of the great things about using a graphics pen and stuff like that, it's got especially Clip Studio Paint Pro's got a thing inside it. It's called a stabilizer. So it will actually help you. It will if you put it on the full setting, you can draw a line and it will take out all the sort of jagged bumps that you usually do, and it'll sort of be slower as you do it, but you can just have just more of a flow with your pen, and it's a tool that you learn to use, and once you sort of get through all that, you can you just. I mean, that probably, and I'm not saying it's great or anything, but that thing probably took me like 10 minutes to put together, because once you learn the tools, you're just
it's like music. I go, it's not
it's like
the
jazz.
fact that you can technically do this, because so many people can. It's what you do with that. What you do with that.
Yeah.
What you do with, like someone asked me the other day, what's a good video editing program for them to start with? I said, well, you use iMovie, because you can do 80% of the things that I do, and I probably do 20% of things that you don't really need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a tool. You get to learn iMovie, it'll do a ton of shit. It's just not packaged and sold like Adobe.
Yeah, and get over the fact that get over that fact, because 30 years ago you had nothing like that. I was you didn't have any computing power and stuff like that. So much like your Logic Pro or your Logic band in a box, this is an art in a box. It's got paints and everything. So
Well, it's funny because Byron and I started off when computers started using an Atari 1040, which had 1 meg of RAM, and we, again, not like it's, Abbey Road, but we produced that album with that, and we didn't find it lacking at the time, right?
No.
Like, it did everything we wanted to do. It recorded real-time MIDI. We could quantize, we could do whatever, we could add stuff in, copy, paste it. We didn't seem like we were lacking.
No, you just got to figure out what your tool can give you for your artwork.
It's the same, it's the same. In relative nature, it's the same as sending the guys to the moon in 1969.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? With like literally a 1 meg RAM computer.
Absolutely.
Well, it shows the power of math. As long as you can do computations, you can figure anything out.
On an abacus.
Luckily, I learned to play G.